right, good day, everyone. Welcome to this PIMVendors.com webinar. I'm Stefan Spijkers. I'm co-founder of PIMVendors.com, and today I'm joined by the classification guru, Susan Walsh. We're going to discuss, well, AI and product data or data. Can't miss those two topics in 2026. So we're going to go real deep and hope to answer your questions as well, because some quick housekeeping before we dive in. This is a live session, so you can join us live with real Q&A happening during the conversation. So if you have any questions for me or for Susan, just drop them in the comment box, either on YouTube where we are live or on LinkedIn as well, and share your questions with us, and we'll try to weave them into the conversation. And if not, we'll be sure to pick them up afterwards. We are making a recording as well, so if you join us and you have to leave us earlier, then well, you can and we can and will send you the recording afterwards. So don't worry, don't fret. If you have a holiday coming up and you want to revisit some of these videos, you will be able to, because we will share the recording with you and we'll publish it on our website, pimvendors.com, as well. Now let's do some quick introductions. Susan, you don't need introductions really, but could you quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. Susan Walsh, known as the classification guru, fixer of dirty data. I've had my business for 9 years. In that time, we have cleaned, classified, normalized, built taxonomies, eradicated dirty data for over 100 clients all over the globe, from every size and brand you can think of. I am a 2 times author, so we've got 2 versions of Between Spreadsheets, and then we've got optimizing sales and marketing data. So regardless of what kind of data you're working with, the principles are always the same. I speak a lot at events, and here I'm going to be at this really cool event in October as well. So
there seems to be this cool thing coming our way, and that's true. Which you are hinting at is Product Content Europe, which is the product content event happening in Utrecht on the 6th of October. And Susan, we were very honored to have you as one of our speakers. So this is indeed a sneak preview, maybe, of what we're going to discuss in.
Oh no, I'm giving nothing away. You'll have to. I'm just going to tease you enough to want to come.
Right. Well, there will be more, because the developments in AI are not standing still, and I think there's new model launches every other week, and well, data also keeps corrupting. So I don't think it will be different, but it will not be radically different, I'm afraid. But no, a sneak preview is good. People should come to Utrecht in October and see us live, because it's not only about the content, it's also about the form and
it's going to
the
be
outfit.
magical.
Exactly. Yeah, it is going to be pretty cool. We have it is indeed magical customer experiences. That's the whole topic of the event, and we're going to combine old magic. We have a real magician, Hans Kazan, who's going to perform his real magic, I'd venture to say. And we have a speaker going to discuss the AI magic, Hendrik van Zwol, showing us the AI magic that is possible. But I think if you don't just want to be entertained, but you also want to have, well, the productive application of AI, I think 3 years after the launch of ChatGPT, the market is already getting some real return on investment on the application of generative AI. There's plenty of space for that as well, and we're going to dive in deep with you and a lot of other cases and case studies during the day as well. So hope to see everyone there. If you want to check it out, there are still some early bird tickets available on productcontenteurope.com. So I'll share the link here as well, but go to productcontenteurope.com and you'll find early bird tickets until July 15th.
Get your ticket.
2 weeks to get those tickets in. But yes, AI and product data. I think just mentioned that we're getting into that stage where AI is moving away from the magic entertainment. We're gonna highlight it in Utrecht on October 6th, but we're moving away from that to real application and getting it really into business practice. And I think, if I speak at least for what we see in practice, is that last year many customers, many organizations have been playing around, fooling around with AI, building some less or more cool point proof of concepts, but not really delivering return on investment or real business value. And what we're starting to see, it's still early, is real business value being delivered by these AI tools. And I'm not sure what you see in your practice, Susan.
My workload has massively increased over the last few months, and I don't think it's a coincidence. It's because of AI. What AI is doing is magnifying the data issues, for example, that you have, and making them even bigger and spreading them farther and wider. So, unless you have that clean foundation of data, and I'm always saying it's right tool for the right job. Like everyone's like GPT versus Claude, but actually GPT's better for some things, Claude's better for some things, Google's better for something else. You need to know really what suits your data and what works for you. So, for example, it gives me helps refine my ideas and content creation and helps me build reports, but I'm not using it as an agent to actually replace anything we're doing. Like I wouldn't let it create a post and schedule it. I would need to check it because it's not there. And actually, I don't know if you saw, I think it was it yesterday or the day before, Ford are hiring back, is it like 1,000 employees or something, because the AI isn't doing what it's supposed to do. And it's because partly I think we've been sold some magic, right? AI is going to do all this stuff, but actually there is like sleight of hand behind that, right? You know, there's still that there's still a person controlling the magic, right? There's still a person controlling the AI. You still need that person at the start and the end of the process, you can't just like let it go and leave it to do its thing. It's obviously not working.
But that's counterintuitive, right? That there is more work now, even though there is AI, right? So Ford hiring people to do real work, maybe support it with AI.
Yeah,
You
yeah. There's a
and
couple
that
of projects where AI will get you so far, right? It might get you to 80 or 90% of the way there. So there's a client that we're working with where they are scanning contracts, but there's like 10% that they can't scan the contract. So we're going to have to go into their system and find that document and scan it and pull out the information that we need. There's another project where we're having to go into a client system and actually look at the invoices and get bank details, tax numbers, because it's, you know, I can't even copy and paste from the document. Sometimes it's scanned and it's so bad that you can't even copy the text and paste it. You have to type it out. So there's still a large amount of that. And obviously, as things move forward, you can start to set up processes to help AI. I've been talking a lot about e-invoicing recently because that's about to come in the UK in a few years' time. And that's not going to work if your data's not matching up. So if you start planning now to collect the right information from your client, your supplier about a product and start putting it in now, then it's going to be better, you know, down the line. So I would see those issues minimize. But what I would say is that ultimately it all starts at the point of entry. Whoever's putting that data in the first place. And when people are involved, there's always going to be something that needs fixed. Training and documentation on best practice and best processes is often lacking. That's something we're helping a lot of our clients with a lot more now. We'll clean their data and then give them a document at the end. Is like, this is how you set up a product. This is the format you use. Don't use punctuation. Use punctuation. Use centimeters or meters. Use uppercase or lowercase. Don't abbreviate or do abbreviate. Like really clear examples of what you should and should be doing when you're setting something up to help minimize all this going forward.
it is not about the one-time fix or the
No,
magical
it really
application.
isn't. You
No.
have to keep working at it. But I think it's my responsibility to set my clients up for success by giving them the tools to do it, and not just saying, right, here's your data, it's all cleaned, I'll see you later, bye bye.
See you in 6 months, because in
Yeah,
6 months everything
yeah.
will be well, better for the recurring business if you wouldn't leave those documents. But
It just, well, it's sad. I want to see them grow and flourish on their own. And, I really do believe that, you should be in an organization managing and owning your own data and being responsible for it. And I can certainly help you get there. But if you really want to know what's going on in your business with products, with customers, with trends, you need to be in that data. You need to be seeing it and knowing it and understanding it. And I can't do that for you.
no, that's true. And AI cannot do that for you either, or at least up to a certain point.
No, actually, I'll tell you something. I was filming a LinkedIn course a couple of weeks ago and I needed a dummy data set. So normally I'll build one myself and I'll make it really messy. But I was like, had a lot on. So I said, ChatGPT, can you build me a dirty data set, please? And it came back and I was like, what is this? This is not even dirty. And it actually said, yes, Susan, you're right. We only have like generic business data to go off of. You're dealing with the really messy stuff. Um, AI knows what it's learned from. So if it's not learned the worst of the worst,
Mm.
it's not going to have that for context. It's not going to know how to fix it. It's not going to know how to clean a product description if it's never seen it before. All these things, you have to have clean data to train the AI, then the AI will work.
But it's exactly like this. I think well, maybe you're starting to see that. I haven't seen it in the world of product data yet, but it's going to happen any moment now, is sort of the deluge of Claude code generated, vibe coded solutions that pretend to solve your problem for a fraction of the price. We had a vendor exclaiming his frustration with, in this case, it was around the packaging regulation happening in Europe, the PPWR,
Yeah.
which is a headache. And he says, well, we have a solution to that headache, but there's now solutions that say, well, for 50 euros a month, you can get your headache resolved as well. But those solutions are not real, stable, scalable solutions, if you catch my drift.
Yep.
Um, and that's another application of AI. I'm aware, but it is an application of AI to better manage the process of managing data or
Yeah.
cleansing
No,
data.
if it's €50 a month, nobody's checking the quality, nobody's managing it, nobody's correcting anything that's wrong. You really do get what you pay for. And you are not going to get something good. I mean, I am sold to all the time by data and procure tech
Right.
companies trying to get me to use their tools. And there's two things. One, we work customized projects. So every project is different. So we don't have a base to learn from because it's something different each time. So there's not enough data to learn from. And the second thing, and they always can't believe this when I tell them it, but I really enjoy the hands on cleaning and getting into the data. I don't want to give that bit up. Now, if there's really messy stuff, yes, technology to help is really useful. But I really, really enjoy the whole process. I don't want to give that up. Um, but there, most people would want to give it up, to be honest. But it's not knowledgeable enough, and it's maybe learned from one industry, but you're in another industry, so it only knows really about data from this industry. It's not going to help your company. The broader the offering of a product, the less successful it's going to be. If it specializes in an industry or you've built it in house, then you're going to have more success. But um, we all want like cheap and bargain and get what we want,
Magic
right?
solution.
But it never ever ends, right? It's what's it? You pay twice in the end, or three times.
But that's the thing. I think and it's both true, right? So yes, AI is amazing when it comes to like solving some of those product data challenges or those data cleansing challenges or transforming data or mapping data. Um, it's
It's
pretty good, but getting that to a scalable process that you can trust, that's
It's
where
hard.
the
And I've got a
difficulty.
real example for you. So we've
Mm.
built Samification, a supplier normalization tool. So it takes all the different versions of PwC, Dell, makes them all look nice and clean in a new column.
Yeah.
We've got a master list of 600,000 cleaned names. We've also then got an AI model that's learning from the master list. So anything that doesn't show up in our master list goes through a set of rules in this. And the AI is making it worse. So there's instances because it's looking for pattern recognition, not context. So a great example I can give you is like Walsh hairdressers, Walsh cleaners, and Walsh lawyers. It sees the word Walsh and thinks that's the same thing. So in one instance, it called everything Walsh Group. Didn't tell it to do that. It just assumed that. In another instance, it took Walsh lawyers and made it Walsh cleaners because again, it saw Walsh and thought, right, it's the same. And it had trained from information that specifically didn't have that. So it's you've got to be really careful, and the more volume you're working with, the harder it's going to be to spot these things, and it could be really important data that's wrong and you can't find it in a sea of a million rows of data.
And especially if you don't have edit history and you just push those millions of records or even 10,000s of records or even 1,000 records through, and you don't know what the
Yeah,
data
and
lineage is. Yeah.
yeah, and if you're working with a spreadsheet, right, it doesn't matter whether it's 1,000 rows or 10,000 rows. It's an effort to go through it. So um, it's about being working smartly, knowing what works and what doesn't. Something that kind of not not data related, but I was doing a document with my chat GPT, and it has noticed patterns in what I do based on our conversations that I had never noticed. It picked up skills about me that I didn't realize I had, right? And that's been phenomenal.
Hmm.
And so, it can really come up with some real nuggets. It could tell you something about a pattern or a trend in your data that you can't see because you've never been looking for it, and it might find it. So there are some amazing things, but again, you can't. It's not just yes or no, and it's not just we need one AI tool for everything. It might be we need different AI tools for different jobs.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I wanted it to be a 50-minute conversation, Susan, where you would just say like, "Oh, this is the solution. Use Claude and use samification, and you're done." Um, but it seems that we are.
Even
Uh,
with samification, we are honest and say when you run it through, it's not going to be perfect first time. Our team will then review it, clean it, and you'll get something even better in a couple of weeks' time. There is no tool out there, whether it's AI or anything else, that should just be left to run unsupervised. You should always have someone, minimum spot checking at the end. And this human in the loop, I hate it. We are the loop, right? It's AI in the loop. It starts and ends with us. That's how it should be, in my opinion.
but it is. I mean, um, it is the cold hard truth that we still need the human in the loop. That's
Yeah, and I get it,
that's
right? Everyone is overworked, short staffed, under resourced, overloaded. We're all looking for those quick wins, and it is so easy to just pop something in a GPT. But imagine you're doing an RFP for something, or like for looking for a new manufacturer for a part or something for a product. And you've just packed it into GPT and it's giving you something, and you've put it off and it's got the dimension wrong or the measurements wrong, or I work in a mixture of English and US English. So my GPT gets confused. Even though I've told it for a specific task, we're working in a specific language with spellings, it'll still revert back to UK default. So yeah, there's so many things.
there is it is so many things, and it is all the small things, and especially in sort of mission critical things, you just can't rely just on AI. You need to have the human in the loop, and it's almost like who do you trust more? Like, do you trust the human checking the AI, or do you trust the AI checking the data? Maybe it is the combination that is the most powerful. But I'm curious whether you see any real powerful implementations of exactly this combination, right? So, looking at clients or past engagements, where you see everyone is trying to do this right now, right? Just maybe we take one step back. So, what we see a lot in happening in the product data space, but I think it's happening in every data environment, is when you want to do something with AI, when you want to have the positive return on investment, you need to have a solid data foundation. You already
Yeah.
mentioned it. You need to have the groundworks done well. And that means the right tooling, right? The right system of record, the right IT setup, but it's also the right process setup and the right instructions and manuals and the right people
Yeah.
to be the human in the loop. I think what we're seeing right now, at least speaking from our experience, we see a huge uptick in people understanding this and also
Yeah.
already taking action on this, even though it is painful, right?
Yeah.
The data and data quality and data governance, like everyone's falling asleep when you start mentioning those data things.
Yeah.
And data has been relegated to the cupboard or somewhere where it's out of sight. It's important, but we just hidden it away. We don't want to look at it. But we're seeing a move away from that, and people realizing that they need to open the cupboard and clean up. But then, yeah, that starts with getting the right tooling in place, or does that start with getting the right process in place, or does it start with the right training for the right people? Where do you even start? And did you have any customers who did this well within their organizations?
Not yet, I would say. I think we're kind of maybe in another year, if you ask me, then I'll have some good examples. I think everyone's still kind of finding their feet in the ground and testing. I think the biggest issue is that most people say, right, we need AI. They don't really know what they need it for. They're just taking it because everybody else is. I think you need to review and assess your data where you are. Think about what you need for the future and then build tools that will get you there or part of the way there. And recognize that it might not do all of it, and document that process. But also, like I say, it all starts with people. So whoever's inputting that data, that might not change even if you've got AI. Somebody somewhere might still be inputting information. So what you have to do is train them as well and educate them, document, and get them to follow a process so that you are minimizing those errors so that the AI can then work and be more efficient and more effective. At the moment, I think, we're buying AI left, right, and center to do things and then discovering that it's not actually doing them. So it's about being realistic about capabilities, but also really thinking about what we need and what we want, not just for like tomorrow, but for next year or the year after, and then building that in.
Yeah, no, that's true. We're finally starting to see organizations that have this strategy, but as you mentioned, it takes time to execute on the strategy. And the projects that we're involved in right now, they often come with the caveat, hey, we want to fix this, but please don't touch the tooling architecture because we don't want to change anything there, even though sometimes you really do need to change that as well.
Yeah, I guess we kind of we get exports of data, so we're never working in the system, so we don't have to deal with that side of things. And especially in procurement, I think they're having to pull together multiple sources of data that doesn't exist in any system. So we're building something flat and separate.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to kind of worry about that bit as much. But I do see where there are like warehouses and lakes that it's layers of rule upon rule upon rule, that this rule cancels out this rule down here, and then they've built another rule up here to fix this rule that's canceling that rule. And it's like you would be better just scrapping and building up from the beginning again, because what's happening is you're actually slowing the process down with all these rules that are canceling each other out. But it's so historical, people are kind of like, we don't want to touch it because it's going to break. It works right now, so we're just going to leave it.
But that's exactly what we see. I mean, yeah, we're back to quick fixes because we're looking around this well this whole thing with all the quick fixes and band-aids, and nobody dares touching it because it might fall or it is very expensive to fix it.
Yeah. And when it does fall, that's when the money becomes available to actually fix the problem. But of course, by then it's urgent. You don't have the time to maybe prepare as much as you'd like to. And it's like, it would cost you less if you'd just been proactive, not reactive.
But say you want to be proactive and you want to like apply AI and do some burn some tokens on some cool stuff. Um, would you like rather invest those tokens in creating a manual and a training program, set up a training program with the team or with the customer, or would you rather build a, I don't know, a data onboarding portal for your suppliers or for the users that put data in, or should you put that on cleansing the data that is already there? Where would you invest the
It's a
tokens?
good question. So it's going to be between cleaning the data and the documentation, because technology comes and goes. I've been talking about this for 9 years. My message has not really changed, but the technology has. You can't, like, documentation is so key. Um, if you have documentation, you can change your process going forward and minimize those errors, but you won't be able to do much with the historical data. But if you clean it, then you will have a good base. But you would need the documentation to go forward to stop it getting dirty again. So it's probably documentation, but it depends on what the business needs to do. Like, if they need to look historically at information, and it could be for even things like, predictive analytics, then you probably might want to clean it first and then do documentation. But it really depends on your priorities. There is no quick fix. There's no one solution fits everything. Still,
I mean, 9 years and there's no easy fix. Will there be
I know.
another?
Imagine that.
Yeah, will there be in another 9 years? Do you think, or is it just going to be the same? The way
We're
that it
going to
was?
move along, but I'm this last 12 months I've seen people talk about data more than ever before in a meaningful way. We've always known that organizations have had data issues, but it feels like that people are tackling them more, but not for the right reasons. They're wanting it clean for AI rather than, right, we need to set some processes in to be clean because that's best practice. So we're getting there. I think that I would probably still be doing this in another 9 years, and it might kind of change a little bit. But I think what we will see is there's going to be this loss of, like, um, early stage skills, right? So all the things that I learned at the bottom, cleaning data, all that kind of stuff. If AI is doing all that, how are people going to know if it's right or wrong? We
Yeah.
still need to have hands in it, and you know not lose all these skills that are going to disappear. Even I hear this a lot in procurement. If AI can read contracts and negotiate now, where are all the young up and coming professionals going to learn their contract management skills?
It is true, and I have the same I have the same conversations, right? So how is this going to be, and how are we going to train the new generation, get them the right skills so they can at least recognize when the AI is making a mistake. Um, I've also been made aware of the fact that that is the old generation. That's us talking about the new generation that is just going to
Get on
use
with it. Yeah,
do it
it's
do
true.
it in their way, in another abstraction layer that, yeah,
I
they don't need
think
to understand.
this is probably the first generation coming up now that is approaching everything differently from how we've lived and grown up and known everything. Like, I guess we're the last non-technical Well, I am anyway. The last, like, I grew up without phones, computers. We had one computer at school that we shared, and we got it once a month in the classroom. Like, you have to just figure out how to do things. So yeah, maybe we're just worried for nothing
I
because
don't,
they're approaching it in a way that we can't understand because we've never had to live that way. We've lived and grown up in a different way.
yeah. I mean, in a way, so the thought that comforts me is that we have seen this with in programming with assembly, right? So
Yeah,
people have been coding in assembly because that is the closest you can get to the machine. And then there's all these different abstraction layers, and now Cloud Code is the sort of final, or at least the next frontier abstraction layer, where you just instruct the AI to build something, and it works, or it doesn't. But yeah, you're just gonna figure it out if it doesn't.
yeah. And I don't code, so I would certainly use it to help me get to what I need to get to. But then this is getting really deep now.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
My question is, how are they going to know what they need to do? And I was thinking about this because for part of my course, I've done Copilot in Excel to help us with formulas. But if you don't know how to solve the problem, then you don't know how to ask it, the AI. And that's the bit I don't know if we've
Mm,
really nailed that bit yet. Or maybe they'll just ask AI that too, like, what's the best way I could do this? And because we've all given our knowledge into GPT right now, it will just know. So maybe I'm worried for nothing.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, no one ever taught me about using index match, for
Yeah,
example, in Excel.
yeah,
I still have to look it up every time I use it. So a small confession here on the live webinar, but it is it is something I picked up somewhere along the
yeah.
way.
But if you
So
don't use it all the time, you lose it, right? And that's with everything. It took me a long time to get my head around lookups, and
right,
then I was staunchly VLOOKUP girl. I was not going to, um, you know, deviate from that. And then it was XLOOKUP came along,
hmm,
and I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. And it took me ages. At first, I was like, nope, nope, I'm not using it. I'm not using it. And now I'm like, nope, default to X.
yeah. But I mean, that's the whole thing, right? And that's now people don't even use XLOOKUP, or they just ask
No, they don't have to, right? They just type a command
Copilot.
into Copilot and it does it. And interestingly, I have asked Copilot to do something a couple of different times. The output and the result is always the same and correct, but the approach has changed.
Hmm.
So different formulas, but to get the same result. So it's not even consistent sometimes.
But I do think that in, well, not all data cleansing, but in data cleansing, or in code, or in something approaching code, which could
Yeah,
be the formulas, there is a way for the model to check its own output, right? So maybe not with the Walsh lawyers versus the
yeah.
Walsh cleaners, because it doesn't know what the right output should
Mm,
be, or it could be both. But with a VLOOKUP or an XLOOKUP, you could use both, as long as the output is the same, and it can check that. I've also seen situations where it cannot check the quality of the output, and you get strange results, right? If you ask it to give you a short list on different PIM solutions for your industry, the outcomes are kind of wacky sometimes, and it does
yeah.
contain some left field PIM solutions that I don't know. I don't think I would have included in a short list, and I'm not sure if you see the same when it comes to data and data cleansing. Like, do you trust the LLM in situations like these?
Not fully, no.
Yeah.
But I never will. I mean, I don't trust people either. Like, I've got a triple check system in place because I make mistakes too. But I go through a triple check process to make sure that we catch them all before that goes out to the client. And I think that's the difference. Um, it's using it wisely, not blindly, being smart about um, improving your processes and your accuracy. Um, sometimes it is just quicker to manually go and tweak something than figure out for an hour that AI can do something and then it doesn't do it great. So you've got to figure out to go and do something else. Um, but also, like what we're talking about now for me is changing on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
My GPT right now is crazy good based on what it's learned about me and what I do. Now, if I asked it for something else, that wouldn't be that great. But um, it's I can't even. This sounds really crazy, but it's getting excited for me. It's excited about plans that it has for me and my business and where I can take it and the messages that I have. And I'm like, wow, okay. Like, and it's probably feeding off of what it's learned from me and how I speak to it, right? But it's like, whoa, this is like, you are making me think about possibilities that had not even crossed my mind.
Yeah, and that's I think the beauty of it, right? The
Yeah.
creativity that is there, and the tailored creativity, and the patience that it has, and
Yeah.
the ability to soak up all that information and use it in new ways.
I would say I'd only kind of come round to using it like as a co-worker or colleague in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
I think that's when I really felt like it was good enough to be considered a colleague.
But then, like with a colleague, you check their work sometime, and you,
Well, this is what I was going to say. Like,
yeah,
you have to show it exact. If you were training someone up, you would have to show them exactly what you wanted before they could go and do it, and it's got to be exactly the same.
and then I mean, it is like this, right? So, and then in this creative process, like a new business or a business plan, and I'm excited what you have cooking for us, but then it's the creativity is there for a reason, and it
Mm.
serves a purpose. I would say in a more defined environment like data cleansing, you don't want it to be creative and
No, you really don't. And yeah, that's where I'm not using it as much. That's why we still have people, because that's the best results, most efficient and accurate results right now.
how has AI impacted your work or the work of your team? So you mentioned you still use it, but differently or carefully, and you
Yeah.
it.
I
Yeah.
mean, I would say that we can do more with less now. And as a small business, that's really helpful. Um, but it's impacted us in a positive way because people now realize that they need their data cleaned and that the AI is not going to clean it. So they're coming to us for help. And whether that's product data cleaning, classification, CRMs, ERP systems, we have been doing this for so long. I have conversations with companies now and I can tell them what's wrong with their data before they've even told me, and they're like, yeah, because there's so many similar problems across organizations.
But still, AI hasn't solved them all, right? They haven't found
No, no.
it, and ChatGPT hasn't solved it for them. So there is, I mean, there's still work for us, and I think also in the coming 9 years there will be work. It is it is in a way magical, but it is in a way also very and scary in a way, right? So
Yeah,
I've had these up and downs where I'm like, oh, consulting is going to be radically changed in 6 months, and then it's like, no, consulting will always be
yeah,
a human to human interaction, and AI will not fully replace that. And then it's like, oh no,
yeah.
AI is going to
Peaks and
radically,
troughs, right?
yes,
But think about chatbots, right? Chatbots can be quite helpful, but then sometimes you just really need to speak to a person. So it's not about having one or the other, it's about having both. And uh, I was at an event recently and they were talking about how AI should augment humans, and that's really what it's about. It should be leveraging you and what helping you be better at what you're doing.
yeah,
What it
yeah.
should do is hopefully weed out, we've all worked in offices with those people that come in late, they have their long lunch, leave early, and we all know they don't really do much. That's the people that are going to get replaced.
Yeah. No, that's sure. At least those will be the first ones.
If you can be a subject matter expert in whatever it is you're doing, then you'll be invaluable. If you know how to fix a spreadsheet, you'll be invaluable.
Yeah. We have a question on spreadsheets, actually, Susan.
Oh,
So there's a question that is, can you share for the triple check? Do you use only Excel worksheets or other supportive systems?
so for the triple check system, so I might get a project in and it'll get split between the team. So they'll do their bit. It comes back together. It'll be checked by someone as a whole, and then it'll be checked again by someone else. So it's like three sets of eyes on the data. So it's people.
Real people, real
Yeah.
humans. Yeah.
And you could absolutely run some AI on it, Copilot on it, and say, have a look at this and look for where there's inconsistent classifications or inconsistent product naming, and it may quickly be able to identify stuff that you can't do yourself. But a lot of the work that in the area that we work in, it's very subjective and contextual. So it's, unless it's like a right or wrong, the AI is not going to find it necessarily.
Yeah. I think that is a good answer to the question. Do you use any specific tools, or is it just the spreadsheet that you pass around, or is there a...
No, I don't actually work in spreadsheets, believe it or not. I have a tool called Omniscope by Visokio. And I've been working with this for 15 years, developed a methodology and using it. There's like an ETL section where we can data model and join files together and deduplicate and change formats and sort things out. And then there's the visualization side, which is where we do all our interrogation of the data. So that's the main tool that we work in.
Love it. Okay. Now you're giving away the secrets.
I can't solve all the world's data problems, right? All the secrets are in here. Like these books are all in Excel, but you can reverse engineer that into any tool that you're working with.
Yeah. So it is a tool that helps you with the workflow and the actual manipulation.
Yeah, working at scale and volume, absolutely.
No. Just clarifying for the audience. I think.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. No, you have to, like, I think what we see as well is inside organizations, you also want to have that smooth process from where data comes in, the onboarding of data,
Yeah.
all the way to the publication of data, and all the things that happen in between. You don't want to have spreadsheets going in and out and six different versions of the truth living inside your organization. Or even for you, Susan, for living in your organization, right? You just want to have that smooth flow from...
Yeah, but honestly, like sometimes it is quicker to open an Excel sheet and do a quick text to columns or something like that. Again, it's like know where you need the tools and know where you can just use a quick Excel thing. It doesn't have to be over complicated.
Yeah. No, but it is the main process engine, or the main tooling engine, structuring the process, the tool structuring the process behind the triple check system.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. I think that answers the question. If anyone has any more questions, feel free to entice us to give away all the secrets. And I thank you from Radhika for answering that. Yeah. Okay. No, I think what I'm curious about is how businesses should approach this, right? So I heard you mention, Susan, customers are involving you to fix this either as a one-time fix or sometimes educating them on the process. But you want to use AI, you want to be at your friend's party and mention that your organization is leveraging AI in the most productive ways. Where should they start? Like, what is the starting point for when you want to use AI in a productive way, not just for the entertaining stuff?
I think about what is the task that's taking the longest time, the biggest pain in the backside to do, and is that the thing that you can help automate or speed up or make more efficient? And that'll be different for everybody. And some of it you might be able to, and some of it you might not. But I would start with that. And always test samples. Don't just throw AI at everything. Start small, test it, see if it works, grow it a little bit more, and see if it works, and you're happy with the results, and that it is actually bringing value to whatever you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think the interesting bit is solutions and IT architectures, they move at a very glacial pace. So I think you can't just change the tooling or the process architecture from today to tomorrow, right? You have to start
Implementations can take years, years, and years.
Yeah, and that's I think the crazy bit is these AI models change every 2 weeks, basically, and changing the IT architecture even in a medium-sized organization takes years, let alone in enterprise organizations.
Yeah. I am not an implementation expert. I think a lot of what holds up implementations is the data quality because nobody cleans it first. But again, they'll say, oh, it's going to take you 6-9 months to clean your data. We could probably do it in 2 or 3. So if you use the right people, the right tools, it can be done faster. Again, if you actually really think about what you want and maybe prioritize certain areas first, you can get there a lot faster.
Yeah. Have you
And
have you? Yeah. Sorry.
no, I was going to say, the consultants will go in, they'll have all the big guns on show for the initial meetings, and, we'll do this, we'll do that. They disappear, and you're left with more junior people who may not even have the experience in that space.
Yeah, and still the same shitty data, right? I think that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. I think people
Don't
underestimate.
fall for the magic sparkly wand trick, look behind the cloak or under the hat. See if there's a rabbit hiding in there.
Yeah, or six.
Yeah.
6 ugly rabbits.
Yeah, what's up their sleeve?
Yeah. No, but and then people know that it is painful, but they still don't want to really invest the money or the time or both
It's
to
like
really.
ripping the band-aid off, isn't it? It's like it's too painful, but actually you're better for it when it's off.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's also ripping it off is well, getting the realization that it is a painful process is step one, but actually getting a band-aid ripped off in a large organization, like selecting the new tooling, designing the new process, cleansing the data, implementing the tooling, and integrating it. That's a 4-year band-aid that you're pulling off. But I
But
do
then
think that
realizing that you'll never have to put another band-aid on again, hopefully.
that's the goal, right? There's this yeah. If you do it well, and you can do it in steps, I think that's also important to note. Like you don't have to rip the band-aid off fully
Yeah,
immediately. It's actually 4 band-aids hiding under each
yeah.
other. You can pull off one and then the other and then the other,
Mhm.
but you only get the full benefits of all of the this is
Yeah,
the analogy is breaking here. You can only get the full benefits of the whole data
thing, yeah.
transformation. Yeah,
But
but
yeah, you could, like, every day you could just peel a little bit off. It doesn't have to be
it starts with a process. I think coming back to where we started, like where would you invest the time or how would you fix this? And I think this also ties in really nicely with your LinkedIn courses that you're recording. Like it's about training the people to use the right process and the right manuals and fix data when it comes in so you don't mess up the
Yeah,
data. Then it makes sense to start cleaning, right? If you
yeah,
start cleaning your house while you're wearing dirty boots, yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense. So start with taking off those boots and defining a plan on how to clean the house,
yeah.
and keeping it clean. Like it's not a thing you do once; it's a thing you have to do every month or every
Yeah,
week.
and I did post about this just the other day. I pay someone to do that because I don't want to do it. And I don't do it as well. I'm a clean round the edges kind of girl. They're a clean underneath the surface kind of people. So
Yeah, and they enjoy the cleaning like you enjoy the data
yeah,
cleansing.
exactly.
Mm,
So yeah, if you can, do it.
yeah. So I mean, all right. So AI, it is not a magic fix. I think we have confirmed that. It's going to make problems worse. Your data quality problems are going to be made worse by just blindly applying AI to, well, whatever data problem you
Yeah.
have. Any application of any tool to just to a people and data and process problem is not going to fix the problem.
Yeah, instead of thinking of replacing everything that you've got, think of it like a turbo boost. It's going to get you where you need to faster. It's not going to change it all.
So if people want to start with that, I mean, we discussed what they should do with the tokens and invest that in a manual. But if they want to start tomorrow with a small baby step on making that data cleaner, or drafting that plan for the future, like what do you think? What do you think people should do?
Very simply, get that data into an Excel file, open a pivot table, and you can even ask Copilot to do that for you now. You don't even need to know how to do that anymore. And start looking at like by code and description. So do you have one description per product code? Or do you have like or description by code? So do you have one description but multiple codes against that same description? Um, sort your descriptions in a pivot table and start looking for similar descriptions, because they could actually be the same product that you just don't realize. You could even ask Copilot now to look or identify similar products, and it might be able to do that better than you can visually, especially if you're working with a large amount of data. But again, it's working with both. But that would help you quickly identify any product issues, like naming convention issues, maybe even like dimension issue. You could look at product code and the dimension stats and see if they are by manufacturer, and every manufacturer product is in inches, but one is in centimeters. Little things like that that you would never notice in just a random data set, but in a pivot table would jump out.
Okay,
Just identify quickly just anything that doesn't look quite right in your data.
Yeah. And it starts with insight, you mean, right? So get that data out in front of the sun, and start looking at the data and understanding where you actually are from a...
Yeah, if you don't know what's wrong, how do you know how to fix it?
Yeah.
Or what to prioritize? There's no point in prioritizing low values products that you don't sell many of. You want to be focusing on your high value products, making sure all the information's right on those, that your predictive analytics is right if you're using that it's been set up correctly, categorized correctly, named correctly, that it's tagged correctly in the warehouse in the right location. But for low value, low turn products, you don't need to focus on them straight away.
Yeah. Right. So identify the high value part of the data cleansing exercise.
Yeah, or it could be like high priority, not necessarily high value. What is most important for your business?
Yeah. Start cleansing it.
It could be, you could have parts, for example, that are you only buy 5 a year, but if you don't have it in stock or it's not the right dimensions, like your whole manufacturing line shuts down. So there's loads of different things, depending on what industry you're in, what your business is, what the business priorities are. So you have to kind of figure out what those are and then what you want to look for in your data.
And would you say then go ahead and start cleansing immediately, or would you say no, hold your horses, start defining a process first, and then
no, because you tend to find the process from cleaning the data. You'll find out what's gone wrong so that you can build a process to stop that from happening in the future.
I love that.
Or give us a call. We'll do it for you.
Exactly. Like, I mean, you have now between the spreadsheets, maybe
read a book, yeah. And eventually watch me on LinkedIn too.
Yeah. But that's a great start, right? So get a view of how dirty the data actually is. Start maybe get a grasp of the process. I love that you say, hey, just cleanse a few of them, or start to understand.
Yeah, and actually, like, is it a project that you can do yourself quickly, like spend an hour every morning with a coffee just tweaking away, or do you need to get someone in to be able to turn it around quite quickly because it's actually a big priority for your business? could be that situation as well.
Yeah, and I think people know where to find you, Susan. I mean, you will be there on our event on October 6th, but
Can't wait.
you are prolific.
There will be a theme.
There will be a theme, yes,
Yes.
a magical theme.
Yes.
I've got
There
my
will
own,
be an outfit. I'm just saying.
just saying. Yeah, the outfits get bonus points, so free coffee, extra free coffee. No, but that's one place to start maybe that journey if you want to. Another place to start that journey is just by reaching out to you on
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, Susan Walsh, Classification Guru, or theclassificationguru.com. That's the best places.
Yeah, you're difficult to miss on LinkedIn, Susan, but
A
also
little bit,
follow you.
as you can tell, I'm very subtle.
No, but that's great. I think even sometimes you want to start cleansing the data and you just need a weekly reminder that you need to do something. And I think following you on LinkedIn is a great reminder that sometimes you just need to get to that data cleansing.
Yeah,
get to it.
absolutely.
So, please do follow Susan. Please do visit our event on October 6th. So productcontenteurope.com if you want to learn more. We will be releasing the recording of this session and publishing some tidbits as well. Buy Susan's books, and there will be some exciting stuff coming online on LinkedIn as well. Susan, do you want to give a sneak preview, or is that too early still?
Well, it'll be on LinkedIn Learning, but I can't tell you when yet. So
Right.
just follow me, and I'll be shouting about it as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, that's cool stuff. All right. Thanks so much for joining us today, Susan. Thanks so much to the audience for joining us today, and hope to see you soon, hopefully in real life.
Thanks so much.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.